Welcome back to the live stream. It is Saturday, the 14th of December, 2019. Today, I will be live for 81 minutes or until this iMac shuts down completely at random, because that's what's been happening this morning whilst I've been preparing this stream, whilst I've been getting things ready. I actually got up super early this morning, 4 minutes past 5. My daily vlog began at 8 past 5. I've been up since then, just kind of like trying to work through this new process with the studio beta here on YouTube to get the stream together. Again, I thought I had to go into the studio beta to hit start stream and to hit end stream, but I just went live and didn't have to do that. So I don't understand that either, but if you look past me, you'll see my iPhone. It's actually recording this whole stream from behind just to document this, because I don't think this iMac's going to stay on. And what that means for you guys, if it doesn't stay on, the whole thing will just go black all of a sudden, right? The stream will just end. So if that's what happens, that's what happened. But if it doesn't happen, it'll be even more confusing because it happened 4 times before I began the stream. That's why I'm late. Mindy's driving but listening. Okay, cool, folks. I gotta say thank you to you guys who were hanging around in the chat at the beginning. I had to reset everything, and that killed that old stream. I don't understand a lot of things that go down here. The big one being why this thing shuts down randomly. I don't understand it, so I don't pretend to understand it. But I'm apologizing for those that were in the other chat. Hopefully they get them. I put this on the community page, and hopefully.
Money's too tight
Whoa,
for
it
stay.
scared the crap out of me. Hamish, thank you for the donation there, Super Chat style. You absolutely frightened the living crap out of me. How many minutes are we in this stream? Can I swear already? We're 3 minutes in. You got to wait till 4 minutes before you can swear on a YouTube stream, but you did scare the 3 minutes 44, 45, 46. I'm about to swear here, folks. I'm just waiting to the 4 minute mark. Hamish, thank you, man. I appreciate that donation very much so. You scared the 3 minutes 56 seconds, the 3 minutes 58, 57, 58, 59, 4 minutes. You scared the shit out of me, Hamish. Thank you very much for that. I'm a little bit on edge. I'm not going to lie, a little bit on edge. I've had a sketchy week with hospital, and I'm going to explain why I'm wearing this and what went down in the hospital. But yeah, props to you, Hamish, and good to see Angus in the chat too. The brothers, man, the Ferguson brothers in the chit chat. Whoa! And it's your boy Moldy in the chit chat. So I'm going to say hello to everybody. It's your boy Moldy. Tim Arkskog up there. Mindy up there. She's driving. Benny Crawford's in the chit chat. Good to see you guys. I know. So I get really frustrated, right? I get super frustrated with this kind of thing. There are so many things working against me when I go live. More so on YouTube than on DLive, right? DLive is pretty easy sailing. In fact, what I was thinking of when this wasn't working, I was thinking, can I just take my DLive stream? Because I've got that on the laptop, right? Because that's what I'm going to be using for streaming from Steve. And I was thinking, can I take that and just send a stream to YouTube using... It'd look stupid though. You'd have all the tidy alerts and all the... My Eunice! And all that crap. It'd be completely weird. But I was thinking... At least I'll be streaming, and well, thankfully I decided not to do that. But I was thinking I'd turn this thing on, and that's why I'm recording this. That's why that thing's recording behind. I thought if I turn this on and start streaming, who's to say within 5 minutes it might not just go? Who's to say within 25 minutes it might not go? Who's to say within 35? Because that's what I think's going to happen. Do you remember me? I'm Ethan. Yes, I do remember you. It's your boy Moldy. You told me just to call you Moldy as well, but I remember your name, Ethan. Why do you have to wait 4 minutes, Scribbles? Well, there's a little rule, not a rule, but an unspoken of word.
Steak?
Money's too tight for steak.
Steak?
Benny Crawford.
War Jack, grinning face with big eyes.
Oh, thanks, Benny, for the donation towards the Jack. Thank you. I don't know why that one didn't frighten me, but the other one scared the absolute crap out of me. Scribbles. And by the way, Scribbles, all the way from over on DLive. Good to see you, man. Did I mention I've got a DLive account? Go over there and have a look at that. It's in the little chat section there if you want to go and have a look. Apparently, you're allowed to curse on a YouTube video or stream as long as it's not within the opening part of the video. I don't actually know the 4 minute mark is... I don't know that for a fact, but I know it's not within the first section, right? So you got to let I don't understand why, but that's just one of the rules. And I don't understand many things that happen on YouTube, but that's one of them. You can't curse up front, but you can curse a little while in. So I was just waiting to the 4-minute mark. Arguably, that's a fair enough time to sort of let one out. And I was furious at the time. I'm not going to deny that. I was angry. I am still angry. I'm angry and I'm scared, right? That's the deal that you've got from me right now. I'm angry and I'm scared. I'm scared because I'm always frightened on a YouTube stream. I'm always get these little weird morning shakes. I'm scared that I think this iMac's going to go. I'm also scared that I do something wrong on YouTube and then, like the whole thing goes away or whatever. I just feel like YouTube is a scary place to be. Like, I've heard people talking about I've heard lots of creators saying they're leaving YouTube. They've had enough. Now, my position. I'm never going to leave. I'm always going to create content here. But how does it make you feel when you watch something like YouTube Rewind, right? Rewind 2019. That thing, all that did for me, I don't know about, I know I can't speak for you guys, but all YouTube Rewind did for me was to solidify just how far away from those creators I am, like how untouchable that echelon of the creators on YouTube is compared to my region, if you like my what do you call it? Like my country, my area, right? Like the area that I populate on YouTube, this little 20-odd thousand subscribers, the little community we've got here, this is beautiful and I love it, but it is so far removed from that freaking mishmash of over sensationalized, over commercialized crap. That content on Rewind was just dribble. And also, folks, I'm having to use my iPad as my replacement for the phones because I can't. I normally watch the stream on a secondary display, but this one's now blocking part of the chat. I see Paula in the chat. Paula, good evening from a cold Berlin. Well, good evening, Paula. Performance anxiety, Tim. Yeah, I get scared here. I'm not going to lie about it. I get scared here, and I don't get frightened on DLive. I don't. There's nothing about DLive that makes me nervous or anxious. In fact, it's a pleasure on DLive, whereas on YouTube, it's a struggle and it's a concern. I'm just saying it. Yeah, good to see you, Paula. And Benny, good to see you, man. Yeah. So, folks, let's talk a little about what happened with me in the hospital. So I guess we don't have to make this the entire contents of the stream, but it would be good to sort of express what went down and maybe get some feelings from you guys as to. I mean, we've got a nurse in the chat. Arguably, she's driving right now. She's driving home from work, but it's good to have you, Mindy, in there because you can kind of like guide me through if I've got things wrong. Scribbles, why have you got your phone back there? Good question. My phone is back there because it's recording this stream because I don't believe this iMac's going to stay working, and I want Apple. I'm going to send Apple a furious email because they make me feel like I'm making this up. This machine has been to Apple, what now? Well, I've been in discussion with Apple on its email chain for the last 8 months, and this machine's been back to Apple, and they said there's nothing wrong with the machine, and I'm saying, well, there clearly is something wrong with it because everything else is working, and it's into a Surge power board, so it's plugged into a Surge board, and all the other things that are in that same board, they never shut down, and all of a sudden this thing will just go, poof, and that's the end, and you have to like unplug the cable, wait 5 minutes, then turn it back on, and maybe it'll come back, and that's what I'm saying. I've done that now, but will it stay on? I don't know, and I think Apple make me feel like I'm lying about it. So Apple, that's why I'm recording this on that phone, and when it does shut down, which, if it doesn't, again, I look like a fool, and you guys will go, well, Benon, give us a minute. It didn't shut down at all on that stream. And I'll be like, yeah, it didn't. I don't understand why it did before either. But they make me feel like I'm lying about it. I'm so, like, I know I get given this, you're Mr. Negative, Mr. Angry. Well, what am I supposed to do here? What would you guys do? What would those that accuse me of being Mr. Negative and Mr. this and that, what would you do if you were in this situation? And how would you handle it? You've got a $5,000 iMac that arguably for the last 4 years has been flawless. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, shuts down while you're using it. and it was doing it while I was editing in Final Cut. So I was thinking maybe the Final Cut file is corrupted. Okay, I'll make a new file and try that, because it turned it back on, right? Then this thing happened again, and I was like, okay, it's not a corrupt file in Final Cut. What could it be? Is it such an intensive program that it's like maybe it's using too many resources? I don't know. I mean, this never happened before. I've used Final Cut for the whole of my life on this machine. So then I took Final Cut out of the equation, loaded up a text document, sitting down working on the text document, literally just typing. Changed locations in the house, chose a different power outlet, tried to do the same thing. Up and running for arguably an indisputable amount of time, doesn't matter what time, indistinguishable amount of time, shut down. So you know what I'm saying? Like, I get given this shtick from people. All you do is complain, and you're just a negative guy, and you should look to the positives. Well, where is the positive here? And how should I... Hey, Apple, thanks for making my machine stop while I'm working. This is awesome. I love it, man. I paid $5,000 for this. This is fantastic. All of my work's just stopped. I can't do a live stream. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Happy times. Yeah, come back tomorrow for another shutdown. Whoop, woo. Happy. I'm so stoked on the shutdowns. It's awesome, Apple. Thank you, man. Only can be positive, right? No, that's not right. You should allow yourself the freedom to express yourself. And the expression that I have when that happens to this machine for no apparent reason is frustration, anger, and discontent. And that's why I've got that recording. And Apple, you can see all this. I'm going to send you this. When this does shut down, I'm going to send you this entire video. I'm going to upload it to YouTube as an unlisted video. And I'll let you guys know the link if you want to have a laugh at it. But I'm going to send it to Apple, and they're going to be like, this guy's a real nutcase. And I'm not denying that I'm not a little bit crazy. I've never said I'm not a little bit nutty, right? But if this is what's going on, and they tell me there's nothing wrong with the machine, I want them to see that there is clearly something wrong with the machine, and either replace it or refund me. And then I'll go and buy another Apple product. That's the beauty of this. They're still getting my money, right? They've got my iPad, they've got my MacBook Pro, they got my phone, they got my iMac. They got 2 HomePods. They've already got me. I'm already in. I just want the thing to do what it's supposed to do. I don't want to have to be scared about it, whether it's not going to do it. And therein lies the secret of my frustration. And if that causes me to lose friends, then fine. Good riddance to those friends that don't want to help out and that don't want to take me for who I am. I say, get the hell out of my way, is what I say. Paula, I've already gone down consumer laws in Australia. I've already lodged a case with Consumer Affairs, and they said basically the report from Apple is there's nothing wrong with the machine, so there's nothing wrong with the machine. That's what I'm saying. I've gone down all these avenues. I said I demand a refund or a replacement, and they said no, there's nothing wrong with the machine. And I'm like, so what? What's going on then? Am I a liar? Am I purposely hijacking my own live streams and ruining my audience, ruining my reach because I'm Mr. Negative and that's all I do? That's what they're accusing me of. They're saying that that's what I'm doing. I've not done anything. I'm just using the machine, and it just shuts down. Now there's a repairer that I've been watching a lot of his content on YouTube. Louis Theoman. I have to bring up his you know what we can do. We can have a quick look. Let's go across here. Let's go to YouTube. I want to see his name, Louis. By the way, I'm using a new browser here. This is the what's this called again? What's this browser called? The Opera browser. One of the DLive verified partner crew, which I'm in that crew too now. He said you should use Opera, man. It's less intensive. So I swapped to Opera for my streaming browser. I used to use Firefox. Louis, what's his name? Louis. You think it'd come up there? Louis Rossman. This is it. This is his name, his handle. This guy here, he has a channel where he does a lot of Mac repairs, and he's documented how. I'll just pause his trailer here. He's documented how Apple products often have these kind of strange sometimes like the thermal the thermal insulation isn't thick enough or strong enough for what the job's doing, and it's fine under normal load. But when you start putting intensive processes together, those thin protective layers arguably spit the dummy. And so I've been watching a lot of him, and whilst the iMac, the 2015 5K Retina iMac hasn't really come up much in his content, but there is documents on not just YouTube but on Reddit where people have said, man, my Retina 5K iMac is just shutting down randomly. And I'm like, I'm not the only one, but Apple know this, right? And they just ignore it. That's the frustration thing. They know it. They know this is going on, and they're just ignoring it. Now, it's almost like me ignoring my chat, which is a bad thing. I gotta shift over there and engage the chit chat. So yeah, Scribbles, to answer your question in a long-winded format, that's why I've got my iPhone filming this. And that's why I don't try to go with Apple, Scribbles. Yeah, I can understand that. Look, I'm locked in here. I'm heavily invested in Apple. So there's no way of me swapping out. Tim says Apple made us feel like it was your fault or their fault when the screen of the Apple Watch cracked. Apple Watch. It is called an Apple Watch, not an iWatch. Yeah, try. Now they are running a recall of the same watches for the screen cracking problem. Really? Apple have a long history of this, says Paula. Tim says it's now gone from us having to pay for the repair to that of having it done for free without any arguing, really. So they've done a complete backflip. That's interesting. I mean, there's the other thing too. Like, at some point, I'm going to upgrade this machine to I was thinking of a Mac Pro, right? But I think an iMac Pro would be more suitable and less costing, right? Like, the Mac Pros are an expensive machine. We can maybe do that on another stream. We can check out how much would be the one I'd go for. But then I think the iMac is great, but the form factor has been the same since 2013, I think 2014. So I think that they're going to redo the iMac and the iMac Pro, and I think they'll put in components from the Mac Pro, especially the screen, into the iMac Pro, and maybe there'll be a 32 instead of a 28, or maybe there'll even be a 40-inch, which is kind of what I'm waiting for. I guess I'm not really waiting for it, but that's why I haven't gone and upgraded this thing. I've got the money from AdSense sitting there, but I'm gonna just leave it and see what couple of years what the iMac Pro looks like. Anyway, I digress. You have to threaten them in writing. I have many. I'll show you my email chain if you want from Apple and to Apple, and you can clearly see what I've done and what I've said and how I've documented this. And Apple have just come back and said, well, we had the machine on for 2 weeks running straight hardcore processes, and it never shut down once in our office. So there's nothing wrong with the machine. And I'm like, so what's going on then? Why does your machine shut down when nothing else powers down on the same board, right? It doesn't make any sense, but they make me feel, the way I feel with Apple is that I'm lying. I know I'm Mr. Negative, but I'm not a Mr. Liar. I wouldn't do that. I would not jeopardize my own content for some dubious reason. That's not what I'm about. Apple's attitude to problems is even worse if you go through an authorized reseller of their products. Yeah, I pity the fool that has to go through a reseller. You got to go direct to Apple. Faffy Day in the chit chat. G'day, Faffy Day. How you going, man? Benny Crawford. Hey, Faffy. Paula. And in future, only deal with the reputable resellers in Sydney. Vanyan Steele. Lewis Rossman. Yeah, and Vanyan. Welcome to the chat. Vanyan. Haven't seen your handle before. I didn't give you an acknowledgement, but thank you, dude. I'm just reading the chat now. Yeah, Louis Rossman. Good stuff. He's got a good... he's got a good mindset, and I mean, if I get given the title of Mr. Negative, crikey, Lewis Rossman must be absolute. He's like Game of Thrones style, Mr. Negative. Paula, evening, Faffy. Benny, you're not Mr. Negative, but you're funny and a bit nutty. Don't change, it's unique. Thanks, Benny. Thank you, man. And I appreciate that from you, because I know we've had a couple of difference of opinions and whatnot, but we always seem to get past that and focus on either whatever the negative or positive is at the time. But I appreciate that, Benny. Thank you. And Northram Mindy agrees too. Vanyan Steele. Louis is great, a straight talker and a great consumer advocate. Apple has the worst attitude when it comes to problems with their own tech. Yet once a recall happens, they're as nice as pie. Yeah, I've seen that too. I recall I can show you this kind of. I recall a story back in like 2006. I had my first ever MacBook Pro. Now I'm not going to shut this entirely because I don't want it to go into shutdown mode. But that was what were they called back then? They were called PowerBooks, right? No, it was the first Mac. It was the first MacBook Pro. It had silver keys. Anyway, my closure of that lid on that machine. If I close this now, it'll all lie flush with this seal, right? But on that MacBook, it was like a big bow. Like it came up on the corner here, and it came up even more on the other corner. So when you shut it down, it never actually shut the lid entirely. And my complaint with Apple back then was, this isn't cool, because if I do that and it's still arguably up here, and I slide that into my bag, and then like a gum nut or a grain of sand or something gets in there, and I'm transporting it, it risks the opportunity to scratch the screen. And Apple were like, nah, that's not a problem. That's nothing, And I'm like, well, it's two problems. The first problem is what I just mentioned. There's a danger of something happening to the screen. The second problem is it's completely, it's an aesthetically deformed product. Like either the lid's closed or it's not closed. And when you close it the way you're meant to, it's not closed. And you look on your website back in 2004, all of your product photos of that MacBook, was it a MacBook Pro? It was called a MacBook Pro, yeah, not MacBook Pro. All of those product photos have a closed lid. So why can't I get one like that? Like where? And by the way, this was pretty much the day I got the thing. I was on their forums and I'm like, why does mine not close? And then I found out there was hundreds of dudes that had the same. Apparently they came off the production line and the aluminium was just warped and they used them. Took me ages, and finally Apple went, yeah, okay, yeah, this is a bad design. We made a mistake, have a new one. And I was like, you know what? You should have done that from the very, very beginning. Instead I had to chase this up, and it was like, ugh. Scribble says, where is the proof of that PC running 2 days without turning off? That's what I would have said. PC, Apple, personal computer. Paula says, not emails, in writing. What the hell, Paula? Who writes? I'm not writing a freaking handwritten letter. I couldn't give a shit about that. Sorry, Paula. I'm not taking a pen out and writing on paper. Sorry, Paula. That's ridiculous. It's not like 1984 anymore. No way, no, I'm not writing a letter. Hell no. I could not be asked writing a letter. It's not going to achieve anything more that an email is going to achieve. If you want the hard copy, print the thing out. Vanyan says, I love the appearance of the Apple Tech, and iOS is fantastic, but their internals are so overpriced, just can't bring myself to pay more than double what you pay. See, that's Vanyan, I got to stop you there, man. That's actually not correct, because we've priced out, especially this 2019 16-inch MacBook Pro and the Mac Pros. You spec the equivalent out on PC, and they're tit for tat. They're the same. Back in the day, sure, there was arguably a huge price, an Apple tax, right, to get the Apple products, but not anymore. It's changed, man. And this product and the Mac Pro, which has just been announced, the pricing, par for par. Arguably things like HomePods and phones, hell yeah, they jack those up for sure. And g'day, Benon. Thank you, man. Lisa Smart. Hello, Lisa. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you. Hope you are well. Thank you. Tim says hi, Lisa. Hi, Vanyan. Hi, Lisa. Home and chilling. Mindy's home. Nice one, Mindy. We'll get into this discussion here momentarily, because I'm a little worked up here, and I probably should be controlling my heart rate right about now. You'll learn about why in a moment. I disagree with the reseller thing, but this is an Australian context, and only certain long-standing resellers have the titanium ones. You remember those MacBooks? Yeah. There you go. All right, mate. It's Logan. Hey, mate. How you going? It's Logan. Welcome to the stream, man. No writing for me. And if you could see my handwriting, you would know why I don't handwrite. You want me to... You know what? Let's do this. Let me get a little bit of paper. I got a printer here. I'm going to get a paper. And you... Okay, how about this? Whilst I go and get paper and a pen, just from around the back here, you tell me something to write on a bit of paper, and I'll... Make it like a short form of prose, and I'll write that down as I'm streaming, and then I'll show it to you. And this will be a good indicator of why I don't write anything if I can avoid it. So I'll get that bit of paper. You pop that in the chat, and when I'll be back momentarily, and we'll write this down. It'll be funny for a gaff, a bit of a laugh. I've even got my favorite pen here. This is my favorite pen, which I've had for about 30 odd years because I never freaking use it. Still got ink in it from when I was in high school. So yeah, put in a little bit of prose. Paula says, this is where they take notice when you write to them and give them 14 days before you start legal proceedings. They usually cave. Vanyan Steel, I get that for laptops, but desktop PC parts are way cheaper, especially if you build their own system. See, Vanyan, dude, that's not right, dude. Check out the Mac Pro and spec out all the ingredients, all the internals on the Mac Pro, and do the same with PC. I think Linus Tech Tips did the same, and he's like, this is actually pretty even here, folks, and this is a good thing for Apple because they've always been guilty of the extra surge, right? The extra tax. I'm waiting to write here, folks. I'm getting my writing hand on, and then we're going to talk about my my hospital experience. Paper got plenty, working pens not so much. Yeah, Paula has got. I'm only saying it must be handwritten, but it must be a letter sent by post to the HQ. Oh, so not handwritten, but just a typed up letter in snail mail. Okay, I'm going to write that down. Do you want? I'm going to do running writing. I am not saying it must be handwriting. I haven't written. That's actually this actually looks pretty good. I'm giving myself props, but it must be. Almost wrote the word "a" letter as one word, so I've already fucked that up. I mean, there you go, folks. How many minutes are we in? I can curse. I can do a big curse like that. I'm doing the word letter sent by post to their HQ. And then Mindy says, you can write, Mindy's my favorite giver. I'll do that too as well, Mindy. Mindy, this looks hideous, folks. Favorite giver. And that right there is why I do not write anything ever. That's just, and if I was to write in like up, that's handwriting or running writing. What's the other one? What's the opposite of handwriting? If I was to write not connected writing, just letters, what is that called? Man, been a while for me since I've been in school. Yeah, what's running writing? That's the term the kids don't use. What's the other? What's printed, right? It's just called print. Now I'll write in non-connected formation of the text. And my hand is absolutely caning. Look at that, folks. That's why I don't do this. That's why I never do it. That's why I won't do it. But appreciate you, folks. Look, let's move into this. Let's change the subject a bit. Like, that's still recording. We're still up and running. Touch wood, it stays there. I don't think it will, but if it does flip out, at least we've got the recording going there, and everything's good. Okay, so Mindy says makes me feel better about your handwriting. Really? Running writing, haven't heard that. Shorthand. Oh, no, that's not it, Vanyan. Shorthand is what typists do to... It's almost like sign language, but it's written, right? Okay, so let's move on. So, folks, this week, or last week, arguably, I mentioned, and I've had this thing, right, on my forehead. Not this. This is a Band-Aid. There's stitches underneath there. But there's this little red, like a little red dot. It's been on my forehead for, I'd say about 6 or 7 months. Not a dot, more like a, it looks like a little, I guess it's about the size of half your pinky fingernail, and it's like a little discoloration, a little red, looks like a pressure spot or something. Now, I thought I had a pimple. That's how I think this began. I thought it was a pimple that I'd inadvertently scratched off one night while I'm sleeping, and it bled, and therefore it then scabbed over. The only thing is that it never disappeared. And I'd always see like a fresh kind of like a white little scab over the top, never a brown scab, like, you know, when you cut your arm skating or something and it scabs up. That's like a little darky sort of browny, reddy, I mean, it's blood, isn't it? Dried blood or whatever. Mindy's a nurse, she'll know. I touched wood. Okay, it's Logan. So, cursive is the correct term, but that's the connected one. The other one is what? Anyway, it never went away, and I eventually I got conscious of it, right? Because this angel I'm on right here, this angel where I look to the chat and I'm looking off to the camera view and the lights behind. This is my stream setup, and this is the only way this can work in this area, and that gives my hideous red mark a direct line of sight to the camera. So I was always conscious of it, and people diss me on the streams on DLive. Oh, nice hotel, man. What are you streaming from a hotel? No one ever said anything about the red dot. I thought that would be the big thing that people would say. Oh, what's that red dot, dude? But I've never been heckled for it. But it was bugging me. So I put out a message to the chat and to the givers and said, what should I do here? And the message from Mindy was one person saying, you should go and get that checked, dude. You're out there surfing. You're in the sun a lot. Go and get it checked. At least you'll know. At least you'll have some kind of clarification of what it is. It could be a skin cancer, right? It could be. I mean, I'm out there in the sun every day surfing and having the fun, and I always wear protection, and I'm always guarding myself. What did I cheese just then? I don't know. I don't know why I cheesed. I felt like cheesing. I'm going to cheese again. I don't know why though, but there you go, folks. There's 2 cheeses. That's for anyone I've missed out that I didn't give a cheese to earlier. So I'm out there in the sun, and I go and okay. So the givers say go and get it checked. So I go to to the medical center. So I live in a small town, right? A very small town, 3,000 people, but we do have a medical center here. And one of the beautiful things about Australia is healthcare is free for everybody. So all you got to do is ring up. Can I see a doctor? Sure. When would you like to come in? Tomorrow, 11:30. Okay, we'll see you then. That's all you got to do in this country. So here in this town, I just walk up the street and I'm at the medical center. Medical center is like they can do small procedures there, and they've got a bunch of doctors that come on a rotating basis. Blah 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 blah. I go in there, see the doctor. He's a new doctor. I used to have my regular doctor when I was doing the keto diet and all that sort of stuff. And remember, I had pee in my blood. Oh, Mr. Negative, can't talk about pee in your blood, dude. That's too negative. Get out of here. So there's a new doctor there. So I go to this new doctor and I say, I got this thing here. And he says, look, dude. He didn't say dude. He said, look, more than likely it's a skin cancer. He said, I can see from looking at it, it's more than likely it's a skin cancer. But we don't know for a fact. So we need to take a sample of it, send it out to the labs, and they will clarify what it is. And then there'll be a process of what we do after then. But at this point, he said, at this point, I'm looking at it and I'm telling you, I think in my medical profession, in my synopsis, that's a skin cancer. But let's find out what kind of skin cancer, because there's good and there's bad, or there's okay and there's bad. There's never a good cancer, is there? I don't know. Vanian Steel, nice setup, looks pro. Thanks, man. Cheers, buddy. I'm on community correction order for touching wood. Shit. Paulie, you shouldn't do it to random fashion on strangers whilst out in public. In a random fashion. Okay, yeah, you shouldn't. Thanks for the props, folks. It's Logan and Vanian Steel. Thanks for that nice word about the stream setup. I do work hard on setting this up and making this pro, and I think we've got, aside from this iMac randomly shutting down, of which it's not doing now, everything else is good, right? So yeah, the doctor does that, and he says, what we're going to have to do, we're going to take what they call a punch biopsy. Now, a punch biopsy, oddly enough, he showed me a pen. My pen's over there somewhere, and it's almost like a little they stuck this thing in your skin and suck out a little bit of the skin, right? It's almost like a little circle. That's why it's called a punch, because it sort of like punches in and sucks back out. So he said, now we do this here at the medical center because it's arguably a fairly small surgical procedure, right? Nothing, bit of anesthetic, a couple of stitches, and you're good to go. So he said, come down a couple of days from now, come back on next week or whatever, and we'll do this. So I go in there. This was on, what is it today? Friday, Saturday. This was on Wednesday. I went in there on Wednesday, and g'day, Benny. When do you get the results? Yeah, I'll get to that too, Benny. Why am I saying g'day to Benny all of a sudden? I meant Happy Canadian. Hello, Happy Canadian. Cheers, my friend. We're just getting to the meat of the story here. Talking about health issues like this is good, is it educates viewers about health problems that they may also suffer but not be personally aware of. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's very true. Like a cookie cutter. That's right, Mindy. A cookie cutter. It's almost like pushes in and pulls back out, and there you got the cookie. Ouch! Biopsy is not fun. That's the point, Vanyan. Not a fun place to get. So this is this side of my head, but let's go for this side. There's not a lot going on there. There's like, a thin bit of skin, and then there's your scalp, right? That's your temple. And so it probably. And the doctor said, dude, this is. I'm not gonna lie. This is a nasty spot to have to take a. This is a nasty spot to put a needle in, and a nasty spot to take a bit of skin off. But what we do is we put a little anesthetic, a little local anesthetic, and then we cut it out, and then I stitch it up. Are you allergic to anything? Nah. I've had anesthetic before. I've busted my elbow up skateboarding. I've messed up my toes with ingrown toenails as a kid. I had a big needle right in my toe, like right in there, all the way up my toe. That was painful. He said, okay, so if you got no allergies, you're all good. And I said, yeah, everything's fine. I'm good. So we're going to, and I don't understand this, and Mindy, maybe you'll know. We're going to put the anesthetic in. The anesthetic includes two things. One of them is adrenaline. I'm not a doctor. I don't know why that was. It was a pre-mix, right? It's like a pre-mix can of Jack. It had anesthetic, a local anesthetic. Did I say antiseptic? Anesthetic and adrenaline mixed in the same syringe. And he's like, you're not allergic to adrenaline? No, don't. No, I mean, I never had it. The only adrenaline I know of is Pulp Fiction, where he shoves that in a chest. Hey, that's what I know as adrenaline. I don't even know what the thing does. So he says, lay down. I lay down. He says, this is going to hurt. The needle's going to hurt. So the needle went in, and it did hurt. And then he said, this is going to hurt more when the anesthetic goes in. And I'm like, okay, cool. Okay, I'm ready. I'm on my side. It hurt. And I'm like, okay, cool. About maybe, he's dabbing it and this and that. Maybe about 40 seconds, maybe a minute, 40 seconds to a minute later, he says, how are you feeling? I said, I'm good. I'm starting to feel a little bit nauseous, though, a little bit on the nauseous side. And he goes, okay, cool. Probably a normal reaction. And as I'm saying it, I'm starting to feel really nauseous, like so much so. Norepinephrine is adrenaline. That wasn't one of them. There was something. If you mentioned it, Mindy, lidocaine, maybe. If you hit it, I'd be able to say that's what they told me, because I can't remember what it was. The feeling of nausea was so strong. I said to him, I think I need to lie down, but I already was laying down. I felt when you get nauseous, you feel like you need to get horizontal, right? Well, I was like, I'm already horizontal, but I need to get more horizontal. I need to get flatter if I can. I don't know why or how, but I just needed to. It was the strangest feeling, right? I felt like I needed to lay down, but I was already laying down. I said to the doctor, I am feeling extremely dizzy here, really dizzy. And they then my eyes closed. I didn't even notice I was closing my eyes. My eyes closed. Apparently I was yawning a lot and like getting my hands under my head, taking them out, putting them back. Apparently I was moving around a lot. And the doctor, I hear them start talking, getting blood pressure again, putting the thing over my arms, checking the blood pressure. And the blood pressure went down to 53/27. And then I hear the doctor say, call an ambulance. And I'm like, I'm trying to process what I'm hearing. I'm hearing a stupidly low blood pressure, and I hear him say, call an ambulance. And I start to freak out, right? I panic. I'm not going to lie. I panic at that point. I'm thinking, why do they need an ambulance? We're in a medical center. What's going on? And I can't really express what I'm feeling because I'm so dizzy and my eyes are closed. I didn't even know they were closed, but apparently that's a defense mechanism. So I'm laying there. I'm sweating profusely. Apparently my face was flat white. My hands are all clammy. The doctor starts checking the blood all the time. My pulse went down to 36 or 37. And I hear the nurse ringing the hospital, ringing the ambulance. We need an ambulance here for a patient. He's gone into some kind of, I can't remember the term they use, some kind of Anyway, the long story short is that lasted for about 3 to 4 minutes, where they were really like, there was panic in there. There were people coming running in, people coming running out, constant checking of this, and the doctor, the nurse was saying blood pressure's going back up slowly, And then I opened my eyes up at that point, and I'm like, what's going on? And the doctor said, you've gone into, I'm just reading the chat. Massive BP drop, poor bloke. Blood pressure, yeah, blood pressure, BP. Not enough oxygen to the brain causes yawning. Well, so that's the thing. So the doctor said, because I said, what's going on? I heard you said you're calling an ambulance. Said, yeah, an ambulance is on the way. They're taking you to the hospital. Remember I said we're in a small town, we've got a medical center? The nearest hospital's about 20-minute drive, 30-minute drive if you like. He said, we're taking you to the hospital. And he said, we don't have the facility to cater for what you're experiencing right now. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? What? I'm in a medical center. What do you need? And he basically said, your blood pressure dropped so low and so quickly. I'm choking up here. I haven't processed this yet, clearly. Wow. This just hit me. Sorry, folks. All right, calm down. I obviously haven't dealt with this effectively since Wednesday, and it's now Saturday. He said your blood pressure dropped so quickly and so low that you would have died. And if you had have died, like if you had have gone into a state of death, we don't have the facility to deal with that. And I said, what do you mean by deal with? And he said, we don't have the facility to revive you. That's why we've called an ambulance. And I was like, but I don't feel like I'm dying. I feel fine. He said, your blood pressure is that low, that quickly. And as what Mindy said, your heart is not pumping blood to your brain fast enough. And that's a concern. So we need to get you out of here. Now, it sounds like I'm a little emotional just saying it because, well, I don't want to die on an operating table in a medical center, right? But anyway, look, it sounds like I'm making more of this than what it is, but I'm not. This is what happened. And I guess I haven't really ran this through my brain yet. I'm too busy being negative about everything. Can't process these things. So the ambulance came and they took me away, and I felt fine. I said this to the paramedic, dude, I feel like this is overkill. I feel fine. And he said, we read your chart, your report. You might feel fine, but you had a reaction that almost killed you. So we have to take you in. He said, now what's going to happen is we're going to process you. They did an ECG or an EEG or something. We're going to process you as we drive. So we're going to process you along the way and make sure that you're good. So, lay back, keep talking. They put a saline drip on me. That was already done in the medical center. They pumped the saline into me, 1.5 liters of salt water into the vein. That's pretty cool. But I was saying to the dude, look, man, I feel good. I don't feel like I think. And they, it was a bit of a thing. Like people were watching me when I was getting wheeled out of the medical center, and it was all a big drama. And I was like, I don't really want to be the focus of this attention when I actually feel like I could just walk home. I don't feel, I mean, they put the stitches in, they covered it up. I felt good. I felt fine. I don't need, and they're like, dude, regardless, you're coming with us, right? So anyway, Paula, I guess it's linked to your father's trauma. My father passed away last year from skin cancer. Yeah, my father passed away from a cancer too. Not a skin cancer, but a cancer. And on a hospital bed too. I guess that is part of it, right? That's part of it. So long and the short of it is we're driving to the hospital, and I say to the dude, I feel fine. And he said, look, you present well. You present well. Your heart rate's back up. You've lost all that, the color's back. You look good. You've been having a good conversation. We're talking about YouTube. I was vlogging it. I was making a vlog of it. He said, look, you look to me as if you're fine. Now we're gonna. He said, basically, the medical center didn't want you on their hands because of the severity of what was going on. Should anything untoward go down, they don't want to be the ones responsible. That's why they've done this. Now, he said, had you have not had your heart rate not have come back up, sure, you would have been in a lot of trouble, right? But you did recover from it relatively quickly, and you now are back to normal. He said, well, we're still going to take you into the hospital. Now, what's going to happen is we're going to drop you in the ER, emergency, ER, what does ER stand for? Emergency rescue? No, emergency resource. I don't know. The emergency ward, right? But unfortunately, and this is the downside to free healthcare, you're going to be in the system, and now you're no longer life-threatening, so you're going to be bumped down on the wait list. So we'll wheel you in, but there'll be a nurse, and they'll check you, and then they'll put you in the waiting room, and you'll have to wait arguably between 4 to 5 hours before someone sees you, and it's all based on who comes in front with a more dire need for healthcare. And I know how that works. That's the downside to public health, right? So I said, okay, and he said, the paramedic said, this is what I would do if I was you. I'd go out into the waiting room. We'll get you some food, do you need food, blah, 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 water and drinks, and you just sit there. But if it gets to like an hour and a half and no one's called you, go and self-check out. Go up to the triage nurse and say, look, I feel good. I know I'm here for, they want to check me, but I feel fine. Nothing's changed in the last 2 hours or whatever. Can you take the cathode, the cathodic? Take the thing out of my arm, and can I just walk out? And basically that's what happened. I waited there for that long, and no one came to see me. There was a woman came in with a child with a broken leg. He obviously got rushed in to get that fixed, and there was an old gentleman that came in a wheelchair, and he was coughing and spluttering, and he went in for. I know what it is and how it works, and like I said, I felt fine, so I self-checked out, and that was the story. Like an anaphylactic shock, allergic reaction on a massive scale, Vanyan. Okay. Paula Northrum, have you ever heard of a reaction to adrenaline like this? Yes, you have, Paula. Mindy has heard of it. I'm wondering if the doc may have accidentally injected into an artery instead of skin. Wow. There is that. I mean, yeah, and Happy Canadian, you have the same system because we're based on the Commonwealth system from England, and so are you guys, yeah. It's meant to be absorbed slowly in a soft tissue, but it can be lethal if it's injected in an artery or vein. Really? Well, anyway, folks, I did make a vlog about it, so this only goes for about 1:30 because I was obviously preconceived, pre-concerned with doing some other things, such as living. But here's what I made, both at the medical centre and then on the way to the hospital in the ambulance. Bit of a laugh. So I've come in here for the biopsy, as we knew we were going to do here, and had a reaction to the anaesthetic to the point where my blood pressure dropped to 53/28 or 27, and my pulse rate went down, and so now I've got to use extra salt water happening here. Saline, not salt water, saline. And now I've got to go to the freaking hospital for monitoring for the next 4 hours just to get a biopsy. And this is, now I won't be able to do my stream today, but this is a little quick video. I'll keep you updated as we go along, but here we are, huh? Felt really faint. The biopsy, hopefully that's all good. So we're now en route to Nowra Hospital, Shoalhaven Hospital it's called. That's because in the town I live, Culburra Beach, the medical centre, probably not so it's the wrong word, but there was a precautionary measure here. I had a syncopal reaction to the surgery, the minor surgery here for the biopsy, and this is now I've got to go to hospital for monitoring. I personally think this is a bit of overkill, but I understand the reasoning behind it. I had an EEG back there at the medical centre, ECG. The paramedics here obviously don't want to go on camera, but they're giving me guidance here. But yeah, look, this will be fine. This will be fine. Just we know live stream today. That's all. Just kidding. Did I get you? Could you imagine if I died on stream? Shit. Man, if that doesn't get views, holy moly, this guy died on a stream talking about his heart issue. What? Get him out of here. But yeah, always looking for content, Paula. You know what was going through my mind more than anything when that was going down? Shit, I can't make my D-Live stream today. I was like, damn it, I'm going to be late on my D-Live. What's the audience going to think? But I mean, look, that's what went down, and my like obviously the biopsy's been taken, so there'll be the results coming next week. I'll go and get the results of the biopsy. I rang the medical center because they ECG echocardiogram. Okay, echocardiogram, echocardiogram, echocardiogram. Why did I say echo twice? Because it's an echo. When they pushed me out with the ambulance. Oh, by the way, here's a funny side note, right? So I mentioned I'm thinking about things that happen, but so I mentioned that there's the medical center and then there's the hospital about half an hour away. Well, next to the medical center here in Culburra Beach, they actually have the ambulance depot, which is very strange. Like there's an ambulance station. It's the same building. Excuse me. It's the same building as the medical center. It's physically the same building where all the ambulances are. But when the nurse rings for an ambulance to order one, the phone call goes from here, from Culburra Beach, northward to Sydney. It's about 2 hours away up to the headquarters. That's the main dispatch. They okay, you need an ambulance. Okay, they palm them out to the ambulance department. The ambulance department says, "Where are you located?" Culburra Beach. No worries. Pumps it back to Culburra Beach, which is the dudes that are in the same building next door. And the paramedic was telling me the funny thing about the urgency of the call was that we were in the next room. The nurse could have. They can't do this because they got to follow process, but she could have just gone, "We need an ambulance back here," but you have to call up, and he's like, "We probably could have heard her. We could have heard what was going on through the wall and just come in." That kind of stuff, mate. I mean, you know, like, I know if I was a doctor and I needed and I'm not saying my case was urgent. I wasn't dying, but it might have gone a bit gnarlier. But if you needed an urgent ambulance and I was in that and I was a nurse or whatever, I'd be running through that door and saying, "Dudes, someone's dying." I wouldn't be making a phone call. I can tell you now. I don't care about process. I'd be like, "They need it right now." I don't care about ringing Sydney and then local dispatch and then back to Culburra. Get out of here. Echocardiogram is an ultrasound of the heart. Okay, so they put all of those things under my 5th and 6th rib and under the side there and down here and on my legs, on my ankles. They did all that stuff and showed me the chart and did all that kind of stuff. It felt like overkill. I'm not going to lie. It felt like overkill. And I feel good now. I didn't know I had any allergic reaction. I didn't, like, the nurse actually kind of made me feel a little guilty. I'm not going to lie. She's like, "Oh, why didn't you tell us that you were prone to this?" And I was like, "Well, first of all, I've never had this. I've never had adrenaline before. And second of all, I didn't lie because I've never had it. And I've never had a reaction like this. So how, like, what are you saying? Like, what am I supposed to say? I could be allergic to this. I could be allergic to that. I don't know what I'm allergic to because I've never had an allergic reaction. Maybe I didn't have enough oxygen in my blood at that point, but I almost slapped that woman thinking, are you making me feel guilty for this? I didn't know this was going to happen. You wally. You think I want this? Get out of here. Tim says the medical industry is actually the largest cause of deaths and permanent injuries in Australia. Hey, folks. While we're here, just to change up slightly, because anyone might be watching this stream later on, if you want to win a full face snorkel mask, I'm giving one away right now on my channel. This is not the mask you will win. This is the brand of the mask. This is not the physical mask. You will win your own ViewTech full face snorkel mask. The link in the chit chat right now is how you can enter. Now, if you're watching this replay and you want to enter, that's still open for I think it's open until the middle of January next year. So if you want to win full face snorkel mask like this from ViewTech, get in that link and that vlog will show you how to enter the competition. I want to just make sure I mention that on each stream if I can. And I know we've been talking about heart rates and stuff, and I want to continue the conversation topic, but I just want to throw that in there as well. She must work for Apple, that nurse. And there's the other thing, folks, and like, you know how I always say, I get Mr. Negative, I get this big name, Mr. Negative, blah, blah, blah. Well, is all this talk me being negative about this? Like, should I be presenting this another way? I went in for a punch biopsy and almost died. It was great. They sent me to the hospital. It was so cool. Like, oh, what a great thing. If you've got nothing positive to say, don't say anything at all, huh? And have I got to talk in that kind of voice? Oh, it was a really cool experience, you know? I went to the hospital. My pulse rate went down. My heart rate went to 53/27. Well, it was really cool. Ah. No, that's not life, is it? I had a shit time. I've had a shit time since I've gone to get... And you know what? It's probably going to get worse. They're probably going to say, dude, that's a skin cancer. That needs to come out. We're going to have to cut a big slice of your head open. And that's going to be... Are you allergic to anything? You're damn right I am. I'm allergic to... Whatever that thing was with the adrenaline you put in me, that's what I'm allergic to. And if you feel me. And by the way, when I go back in for the results, I'm going to ask the doctor, and I'm going to write it down, what that injection was, what the multiple, the anesthetic and the adrenaline, what they actually were. And I'm going to report back and I'm going to keep that in my phone, because if anyone ever says, are you allergic to anything? I'm going to be like, you're damn right. That's what I'm allergic to. And it makes my heart rate stop. So let's never use that again. Vanyan, got to go. See you all. Have a great Christmas. Thanks, Vanyan. And thanks for swinging by, man. I appreciate you coming in. We've never seen you before, but I appreciate you being here, man. Thanks a lot. By the way, during the roll of that clip, I went and checked the phone and it's off. So it shut down. I don't know how or why, but oddly enough, my phone shut down. And we seem to be good here on the stream, so I don't know what to say, folks, but yeah. So that's my situation, and that's kind of been where I've been at this week. And I thought I'd go in there, punch biopsy, come back out, go back in a week later, get the results. That's it. But it's not been that way. It's been an interesting scenario to go through. I think you should sue the medical clinic and Apple at the same time. You're bound to win one of the cases. Oh, Mindy, yeah. You know what? That's a good idea. Calling into Discord. That's a great idea, Mindy. If you want to call in on the Discord, here is the chat. In the chat right now, there is the Discord. I will go in there myself. Make sure I'm in there. I'm in the Discord now. I'm going to go into the Discord. Gives a minute call-in line. Okay, I'm in there right now. So Mindy, if you come in, I'll hear you come in and we'll go across. But yeah, that's a good idea, because you're a nurse, so you've definitely got that. You've got that knowledge, which you can definitely teach us. Tim, I was accused of wasting doctors' times and fund when I was taken from a local hospital to a regional hospital for displaying the symptoms of a heart attack that turned out simply to be a severe stress. You went from a local to a regional hospital? That's usually the other way around, isn't it? From a regional to a local. But that doesn't sound cool. I love that comment. Tim, are you Happy Canadian? Are you going to enter the competition? And it's like, now there's no point in anyone else entering because Jeff's going to win. Jeff always wins my giveaways. It's pretty funny. I don't know. It's not rigged, man. It's completely random. Okay, I see Mindy in the chat there, but she's got no audio on right now, no headset on. But you'll be able to see there. So there's Mindy and there's me. But Mindy, you've either she's popped out again, so she'll pop in and pop out. I think she's having headphone or microphone issues, so we'll just wait and see if she does get it sorted. Yeah, look, I mean, have I been under stress lately? Not really. I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say I'm stressed out. It's not working with your mic. That's okay, Mindy. I'll tell you what, instead of that, maybe if you want to just give yourself some time to sort of sort that mic out, I do need to take a quick slash. This has been rolling along quite nicely, this stream, but the conversation's been great. But there is a song I want to play for you, which is a band that's somehow related to me and also somehow not related to me. Back after this. Welcome back to the Slightly Random Daily Song. It's a very strange morning here at Culburra Beach. There's some strange light in the sky. We've got forest fires, bushfires burning everywhere. It's kind of windy. Not very nice down here at the moment, but I want to show you guys a band that doesn't really have much connection to me. Well, a very loose connection, let's just call it that. Overreactor. Overreactor, a two-piece from Melbourne town featuring Ezekiel Ox of Mammal fame. You know Mammal, right? big Australian act. I'm gonna say around 2006, 2007, 2008. Mammal were kicking around huge, right? And my friend's band, Poetical Justice, I think that's how the connection lies with me. Poetical Justice, they were touring with Mammal, certainly with Ezekiel Ox in one of his bands. Ezekiel's had so many different bands. Overreactor is the one I'm focusing on today, but the actual connection comes through Mammal and Poetical Justice. So this is the self-created album from Overreactor. It's called Lose Your Delusion. Lose Your Delusion. I believe they had Lose Your Delusion 1 and 2 after this. Two-piece band, Ezekiel Ox and friend Corey Blight. Now I've met both of these gentlemen, photographed the band a bunch of times. So it says here, Ezekiel performed lead vocals, backing vocals and percussion. Corey performed drums, guitar, bass, programming, sampling, backing vocals. Everything done by Overreactor. Pretty cool artwork here too. They really had a pretty unique thing going on. And if you know Ezekiel Ox and you know how forthcoming and forthright this man is, he's very in your face, isn't he? Now the track I want to play you off, Lose Your Delusion, one of my favorites, track 9. Track 9 out of 16 tracks. The track is called Naked Words, one of my personal favorites from this record. I'm gonna pop you guys down here, show you the sun there. It's all dappled, isn't it? Very interesting light. Put you down like this. Pop you like that. That's probably pretty good, right? That's a good angel. I think that's gonna be the best and most appropriate angel to catch up with Overreactor and Naked Words from their Lose Your Delusion album.
Call me the comeback kid, call me the main event, call me the one who's gonna walk on your judgment now. Call me the subdivided, call me the end of lies. Watch as a movement builds around me now to come out. You wanna push around the weekend of rest? We will be there. You wanna push around the weekend depressed? We will be there. So it's all the loser, keep your eye on the prize. You're not a piece of meat, you're not a one-way street. You're not a profit calculator to be bought and sold. You're not a kick-out punch, you're not a lazy lunch. You're not a sample audience watching trash for gold. Close your eyes and remember where you come from. Fuck them at the top of the hill. Well, my portion fails me, and I'm left with naked words. We want it all. How's that for you? How's that for you? You're not a mate and great. You're not a one-way street. You're not a profit calculator to be bought and sold. You're not a tip of punch, you're not a time of crunch, you're not a sample audience watching trash for gold. So it's all the loser, keep your eye on the prize. Close your eyes and remember where you come from. Fuck them at the top of the hill. Well, my portion fails me, and I'm left with the naked words. We want it all. How's that for you? How's that for you? How's that for you?
There you go, folks. Overreactor from Lose Your Delusion with Naked Words. Now, while that track was rolling, I was perusing the artwork here. Hey, look at this bird. Woo, woo, look at this bird doing its thing. Have a look at this. That's some kind of seabird that hovers over the tops of rodents and then dive bombs them, but obviously it didn't quite get to the dive bombing. Yeah, while that track was rolling, I was perusing the liner notes, and on this album, featuring a guest solo by Chris Chaney from The Living End. I didn't know that was on here, actually.
Well, we should have played that track. If you know The Living End, you'll know who I'm referring to. But we didn't. We heard Naked Words. Now look, while I sit down and work out what else is featured on this beautiful album from Overreactor, you guys can go back to the live stream.
Back on. Oh shit! Speaking of back on, my stream's back on. Whoopsie! My bad. Mr. Negative can't even stream correctly. Get out of here. I was just checking why this phone went off. I mean, that's really strange. Well, not really. It didn't even record anything on, like I recorded the first, that's a bit too bright for the brightness factor. I recorded the first shutdowns that were going on when the stream was supposed to be initially, but then I hit record on the other one and it didn't record anything. Could you imagine if this did shut down and I didn't get the recording? I would be, and the reason I didn't get the recording is because the phone shut down and it's still got 27% battery. Get out of here. Looking through the chat because I have missed a few things. So Tim said regional meaning the large region or area hospital from a small local hospital. Oh, okay, I got you, Tim. I misread that, man. My bad. Paula says, I keep getting kicked out of the stream. Anyone else with issues? Now, that's been me kicking you out. Yeah, I'm almost ready to ban you, actually, Paula. Kidding. I don't know what's going on there because my stream is looking really good. I had to look at the top there. I've only dropped 170 frames this entire stream, which is pretty damn good. Yeah, so it's not me, it's you. How about this iMac, right? Still working. How come this... There's no rhyme or reason to this. Why did it shut down 4 times before I began? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. But Tim says it wasn't updating for me earlier, Paula. Interesting. Whenever anything weird happens on a YouTube stream or a video, I just refresh the page. Like, that's my first port of call. Now, I'm not sure what the command is on a PC. No, I know what it is. It's F5. That's what it is. Unless it's changed over the years. I remember it back in my early days of PC usage. F5 refreshes. On a Mac, it's Command R. I just Command R it and you're good to go. Tim says, just looking at petrol prices on the internet for petrol stations near me. Prices vary from 130.7 to 175.9 cents a litre within a 1.5k radius. What? Interesting. Mindy's good. There's no issues with him. Happy Canadian Tim, that's crazy. I've been kicked out like 5 times. Really? You've been kicked out of the stream 5 times? That's not acceptable. F5, it still is. Okay, cool. Yeah, interesting. I mean, I haven't used a PC for a while. Hey, folks, you know what I could do? Should I take this off? It's been on since Wednesday, right? I could take this. Oh, you know what I want to tell you? You got to keep these things dry when they got stitches in, right? You got to keep them dry. So what have I been doing while showering? It's pretty funny. I've been using this, a shot glass. Look at it. It fits perfectly over the area. It's hard to do backwards. And then basically, I just hold this like this, and I go in the shower, turn the water on. I can wash my hair, wash my forehead, wash my ear, wash behind my ear, and that, just holding that there, is keeping it dry. And then when I'm done washing, I rinse, and then I just go. I can also take a little shot there before I go in, huh? Paula will sue me. You're going to sue me. Make sure you write a handwritten letter. Should we take this Band-Aid off? I mean, it's the Band-Aid's been there since Wednesday, so I guess we could take it off and have a look. Mindy, what's your nursical recommendation? Could we take the bandage off and just have a look at it? Because I want to see what's in there as well. I want to see if the stitches are anything good. What do you say? You also get a chance to look at my big forehead. That's a big forehead, isn't it? No wonder you're so negative. You've got all this big forehead space there to keep all the negativity in. My goodness. Yeah, bandage can go. Okay, cool. Or Band-Aid. Let's get this off. Oh, crap. It's pretty stuck on there. What do you see there? I mean, the focus, if I go closer, the focus won't work because it's manually focused, but that's kind of what you got. Is that a nice punch biopsy? Now, if I thought I had a distracting little red dot on my forehead, now I've got this massive hole where that used to be, and arguably it's going to be bigger if they've got to cut something out, right? Like my face could be messed up. Take one last look at this hideous head, folks. It's only going to get more hideous from here. I'm going to probably lose. My good side's going to be this side. I might have to swap my entire stream setup so I can present my good side to camera, or at least grow that little bit of hair down there. I don't know. Might sting a bit. Didn't sting much. I'm pretty good with band-aids. Take them. But that one was a bit dubious because it's a stitch, so you don't want to just rip it off because it could rip the stitch out. But I'm okay with a little bit of pain, right? There you go. Pretend you're still at school and pick the scab off. Shit, no, not with a potential cancer, Tim. Come on, man. It is correct procedure to do a shot before taking off the Band-Aid. Oh, no. By the way, folks, yesterday on the D-Live, I finished off the Red Dog Saloon, Jack Daniels. And funnily enough, my brother turned up here. My brother from the Sunshine Coast turned up here on the stream. If you want to catch that replay, it's kind of interesting. We did a little bit of a gag where I ran a clip, and in the interim, he came in and sat here and pretended he was me streaming. And the chat was like, "Who's this? Who's this silver fox? He's got your eyes." It's like me and my brother looked quite alike when we were younger, but as we've gotten older, I think there's a more of a gap between our appearances. He's my older brother, my only brother, but he's older by about a year and a half. And chicks love scars, Tim says. That's a Bart Simpson quote. And yeah, my brother and I have never really had a drink together because he's pretty religious, like pretty hardcore religious. But last night he actually had 2 Jacks. He had 2 Jack Daniels with me and Mum, which is pretty unique, right? Like, yeah, I mean, it's funny though. He said, yeah, I'll just have it neat, thanks, just neat. And I'm like, okay, cool. I mean, yeah, okay. I mean, this is a good one to try, neat. Oh no, that wasn't Red Dog. We had Old Number 7, and by that stage, I'd had 2 on the stream. I had a long neck of home brew, so I'd had 2 beers and 2 Red Dogs, and then Stefan said, let's have a Jack's out here. So then I poured 3 Jacks, and Steph wanted his neat, but I put mine with Coke because I'm having it with Coke. And then Steph says, "Oh, what do you got in yours?" And I said, "Oh, I got Coke." And he said, "Yeah, can I have mine with Coke?" And I said, "I thought you wanted it neat." Yeah, neat with Coke. Just let that sink in for a second. And Benny saw it. Benny was on the stream when Steph came in. Yeah, I mean, we could go across to D-Live on this stream sometimes and show things that have happened. I mean, Tim, you're not on D-Live, so you don't see. I mean, there's no time to do that on today's stream, but maybe we could pull up like the highlights of D-Live if you like. And showcase them here on YouTube. I'm happy to do that. As a verified partner on D-Live now, I've got more of an obligation to bring people to the platform. So Tim, if you ever do come across to D-Live, I'll send you there. I'll refer you across if you ever do come across. But this week on D-Live, yeah, I became verified. That's a big thing. That entitles me and enables me to upload videos, videos to D-Live, like vlogs. I can basically use it like a YouTube. I can upload content, not just live streams, which is huge. So I went ahead, and in fact, I'll show you this. I went ahead and made a video. Let's go to D-Live. I went ahead and made a video on D-Live. I'm going to pop you guys over here. Where's my thing? D-Live stream on the blockchain. Yeah, I went ahead and made a video. Where's my channel? Pause that stream inception. Okay, my channel's up here. Go down to my channel. You guys can't really see this at this resolution, so we'll make this a little bigger. Get rid of my hideous head. This is a rerun. We're all adults here, whoa. Shut up. Give us a minute. So if you go down here to the video section, down here, I've got a video. It's got 72 views. It's my streaming setup, my hardware for streaming. Which is pretty, I mean, this is pretty cool to have this feature. Whoa, you're so loud, dude. Let me just drop that down a bit. This is not live. G'day, D-Live. These aren't even on. This isn't even on. This isn't a live stream. This is a video. So we don't want to watch the whole thing, but you get the drill there. You get the deal, right? That's the content that I can put on DLive on my DLive channel now as a verified partner. I'm really psyched for that because I can essentially get in at the floor level and start putting evergreen content that's going to be searchable, such as my streaming hardware setup, right? That's that kind of content, my hardware streaming setup, that kind of content is content that people will love to see. And when this gets bigger, it'll be a searchable term, and theoretically, mine should come up because it's right there in the early phases, right? In the bottom of the algorithm. Yeah, pretty stoked on that, and like it's a beautiful thing. And I'm gonna do I'm gonna do 2 videos a month. I'm gonna do a wrap up of DLive, like a what do they call it? Like a state of the nation kind of thing. Like, here's what's been happening on the Gives a Minute DLive stream, and here's what's been happening on other DLive, like the DLive website itself, and how it's grown over the month. Tim, do I get a discount by mentioning your name? Remember they used to say that, like, oh, my mate works at Bunnings, mention his name, you get a discount. You never got discounts for that. It's just, yeah. But that's a thank you. Like it's got to be said. That's a huge thank you to you, the givers, the guys and gal givers that have been over there on the DLive and made this workable, made this content something. It's props to you guys that I'm now verified, because this wouldn't have occurred without the two-way street that I always mention, right? Like, we've got something now. We've got something there. We've got a little network, a little community that's getting bigger every day. And every time we stream and every time we engage the content and bring in new streamers and we welcome them to the platform and we host them and all that stuff that's cool, it just makes the whole thing bigger. And the bigger it gets, the better off for you guys, the better off for me as a content creator, the better off for you as the rewards system. I'm so stoked to be there. I can't understand why anybody would not. I think if you haven't made something there now, I think you've missed the golden era of it. But there is still time to get in there and do something. But I would say that the really good times arguably may have already ended. I think. In the sense that there was a very huge opportunity to be a Lino blockchain founding member, start off with. There's a very huge opportunity to have a one-on-one connection with a lot of the staff there. And this still exists, don't get me wrong, but it's growing so quickly and it's growing so big that all those opportunities are becoming less as it grows. So I'd encourage everybody to come over there and start streaming, but that golden era, that golden heyday is kind of arguably wrapped up. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Benny, I know Benny loves it. Happy Canadian jumps in whenever he can when the time zone hits him better. I appreciate Benny whenever you come in, man. Much appreciated. Well, if we could just get the Tim Arskog over there, that would be awesome. You know, Tim, you'd love it over there, man. What's the situation? Your iPad's still not working correctly or something? Very strange, man. But I think you would totally dig it. I think you'd enjoy the space. I think you'd enjoy the freedom. There's a little bit more freedom over there. Mind you, there is some nasty trolls over there. So there's some action going down on DLive that I've had to deal with. Last night we had these dudes. All they wanted to do was talk about apples, not the computers either, apples, like how good apples are. And I ended up saying to them, you're trolling and this is why I'm banning you. You've only just created your account. One of them had created the account in April, and then not used it till August, and then came in with this troll crap. And I'm like, you know what, man? This is an account you made off the fly just for some shits and giggles, and you want to ruin my stream? Delete and mute, gone, out of the stream. But that's one side issue that happens on DLive. Folks, I can hear my outro tune rolling right now. Thanks for a wonderful stream. Thanks for listening to me. What a time. I can't believe the iMac hasn't shut down. I'll see you all next time on the Gives a Minute DLive stream or DLive. DLive YouTube. What?